receive a treatment for your cancer on the morning of April the 6th of last year?
Yes, sir.
And as a result of that work, when did you go into work that day?
Yes, sir.
Hello and welcome to Court TV Live. I'm Julia Janae, filling in for Julie Grant. Thank you for following along with us this morning as we follow this case out of North Carolina. Defendant Taiseer Zarka expected to return to the stand in about 30 minutes. He's a store owner accused in the fatal stabbing death of customer Mark Garrity. Zarka began his testimony on Friday after the jury got to actually go to the scene of the crime, his own convenience store. Let's get you caught up on the biggest moments from the convenience store murder trial from Friday.
Now, Mr. Cowles stated to you, do you remember him stating to you that he didn't understand why the situation was escalating?
Correct.
Is that he didn't understand what those two people were thinking while they were struggling so hard over this bag of Gatorade in it?
Correct.
Remember Mr. Cowles telling you that they deal with shoplifters at the store several times a day?
Yes, sir.
And did he tell you that staff typically calls the police and gets a shoplifter banned or trespassed?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea on how many occasions that you've been in his store and had an opportunity to interact with him?
Hundreds.
Can you tell me what kinds of things you had to become involved in at his store?
I would say everything from trespassing to larcenies to communicating threats, your standard disturbance.
And have you had to arrest people down there for violation?
Yes.
Are you aware that Taz carries a knife?
Yes.
And are you aware that he's used that knife before this event?
Yes.
So this isn't the only time that Taz has used a knife when dealing with customers, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Would you say anything to this jury to try to help him that this is true?
Yes, I can. Because this has floored all of us. And we've gone into situations where, he's more peaceful than I am. And he's always been the very loving, the most generous. I mean, he would give you the shirt off his back in a heartbeat.
Just because someone generally respects the law doesn't mean they can't make a mistake and violate the law, right?
Yeah, you can get a speeding ticket and stuff like that. That's breaking the law.
So you can violate the law, right?
Possible.
In Kuwait, we had American University and we had American High School. And I managed gracefully to, in a small minibus, to make almost 40 trips to take American families with kids to the Saudi border. And I was actually physically, for almost 4 to 5 days, was hanging with one arm.
The testimony that I wanted to elicit from that period of time is in Kuwait. And I absolutely am trying to elicit this testimony and evidence for the purpose of establishing this man's credibility and for the purpose of establishing that he is a good man.
Him being a good man is not what is at issue in this case. His general character has been testified to by 5 witnesses about peacefulness. This testimony has nothing to do with his ability or his reputation for peacefulness in this community.
Now, this case is about second-degree murder. This case is not about what he may or may not have done to assist Americans during the invasion of Kuwait and Afghanistan. It's not about that. I don't see a relevant line that he can draw other than to ingratiate himself to the jury for sympathy
Why did you decide to come back to the United States from Kuwait?
Just for better future for the kids. I had the choice to go back to the corporate world or just to be on my own. I mean, everybody goes to the convenience store. Everybody always wants something. See, sir, I am a public business, and we get them all. There'll be an engineer, a DA, a homeless, a thief, a breacher. You know, downtown is a collective area. It has everybody, and I serve all.
That was the first part of Taiseer Zarka on the stand in his own defense, and in about 25 minutes, he's going to be returning to the stand to pick it up where he left off. Let's bring in our analysts who are standing by to break down what we've seen so far in this case. We have former prosecutor and SLED agent Tommy Pope and the state attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida. Dave Ehrenberg is with us as well. Great to have you both on. Dave, let me start with you. Get your reaction to this case and what the defense needs to focus on when he takes the stand again.
Good to be back with you, Julia and Tommy. The defense has to keep going on the character evidence. I mean, the defendant is allowed to bring up character evidence, unlike prosecutors, but it's got to be relevant to the specific matter. So when you say, look what he did for American troops in Kuwait, to me as a prosecutor, I'd say that goes beyond the question of whether he's a peaceful person and would never instigate something and kill someone unless it was self-defense. Now, the prosecution, though, can now rebut and can specifically introduce character evidence because the defense opened the door to it. So that's the drawback when it comes to character evidence. Normally, prosecutors wouldn't be able to bring this up, and now they can. And I think the way that he presents himself on the stand, he's well-dressed, he is well-spoken, he's not too aggressive on the stand. I think that this case is going pretty well for the defense. It reminds me of the Daniel Penny case in New York, the subway killer case. I think that when these guys get on the stand and testify and do a good job, that's enough reasonable doubt for a jury to at least get a hung jury. And meanwhile, the other person here, the victim, is not around to defend himself.
And David, you mentioned rebuttal and what we could see, because we're at the end of the defense case with this witness. But I want to listen back to Issa Shea. He was the friend of the defendant talking about his character. Let's listen.
You know, he's more peaceful than I am. And he's always been the very loving, the most generous. I mean, he would give you the shirt off his back in a heartbeat. I couldn't speak good enough of the qualities that he holds, but he holds a whole lot of qualities that would make me sit right here. If I had to sit right here for another 10 years to testify on his behalf, I would.
And Tommy, the prosecution, when this testimony was over, emphatically said, we don't want to release him from his subpoena. We may call him, is the sense I got from the way they were very adamant about wanting to keep him. Do you think that there's going to be more on rebuttal now that he's opened the door to his character of peacefulness, as Dave mentioned? Are we possibly going to see people come in to say, no, he actually was not peaceful with me?
I think there's definitely that possibility. Dave pointed out, now that the door is open, it can come in, and the fact they're not releasing this friend, they could have done it on cross-examination. Maybe they don't have all the information they need. Maybe they got an investigator trying to look it up now. But there may be more things they have to kind of pin him down on that could undermine that witness's credibility. For me, the visit to the scene, the nature of the place, people are tired of just rampant crime. And I think that can inure to this defendant's benefit from the standpoint, people want to feel safe when they go in the store. And it seemed like it was almost a little bit of a battle zone there with the constant crime that was taking place. And so I think some jurors could lean his way just based on that.
Yeah, Dave, that seems to be where the defense on direct was going. They were just about to, before they took the break on Friday, talk about how often customers were stealing in his store. When we look at this video and we're seeing this altercation, it can make you uncomfortable because you wonder, first of all, are there items in that backpack for sure that this person was stealing? And just how far can a shopkeeper go? And that's my question legally, because if someone stops you, if you deny it, can they then go into your bag? Can they then detain you for police?
Well, it depends on the facts of every case. Now, remember, the shopkeeper is not police, so they don't have to get a warrant under the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable searches and seizures. You're in his store. It's a private place. He has seen you take a Gatorade, and now he is going to look at your bag, and the most you can do is go sue him then, in civil court, because he's not the government, and he probably has a sign somewhere that says, all bags are subject to search. So I don't think that's a huge deal. I do think, though, the overuse of force here, where it was too much, using a knife against an unarmed person, that's the crux of the prosecution's case. So it's all fact specific. I think this is going to be a tough one for prosecutors. It also doesn't help prosecutors that the victim had cocaine and other drugs in his system, even though it didn't cause his death. It is something that the jurors will remember. And as Tommy correctly points out, crime is a big issue for jurors, like it is for everyone in this country. And so they may feel natural sympathy for the shopkeeper.
Tommy, when I'm looking at the images there, I'm seeing other people inside of this store. We also know that there's cell phone video that's being recorded by other witnesses in this store. Does the other people around factor add to what a jury may think is his fear in this case of maybe things getting out of hand? Or does it show that he may have had other options?
I think, unfortunately, and again, it kind of goes to the whole crime thing Dave was talking about. I think people feel like we're becoming more and more lawless. And the fact, how many times now do we see somebody getting the full beat out of them, and all that, somebody's videoing it instead of helping, they're videoing it. That's our thing now. Nobody helps, everybody videos. And so I think it actually is collateral to the crime itself, because to me, the frustration, just one or two people helping do something, either way, could have eliminated this situation. We wouldn't be talking about it.